The first thing Jason Sung noticed when he opened his eyes was the ceiling. White tiles, fluorescent lights, the antiseptic smell that clung to every hospital in New York like a second coat of paint. He was alive. That alone felt like a miracle. His body ached in ways he didn't have words for. The kind of deep, structural pain that told him something fundamental had changed. Not broken bones, not torn muscle, something deeper, like his entire body had been taken apart and reassembled by hands that almost knew what they were doing. He tried to sit up, made it halfway before his arms gave out. "You're awake." His sister was in the chair beside the bed. Haley looked like she hadn't slept in days, still in her school jacket, her dark hair pulled back unevenly, eyes red at the edges. She was gripping his hand with both of hers like she was afraid he'd disappear if she let go. She was 16 and trying very hard not to look scared. "Hey." His voice came out dry and cracked. "How long?" 3 days. She exhaled like she'd been holding that breath the entire time. "They said you might not." She stopped, looked away. "You're an idiot, you know that? 3 days, the double dungeon, the statues, the hunters screaming in the dark. It came back in fragments, too sharp, too vivid. He let it wash over him and then pushed it down. Falling apart wasn't something he had time for. Not with Haley watching, not with their mother's hospital bills sitting on the kitchen counter at home. Mom, the thought landed quietly. Linda Sung was 3 miles away in a long-term care facility in Midtown, the same as she'd been for the past 2 years. Comatose, breathing through machines that cost more per day than Jason used to make in a week. He pushed that down too. That's when he saw it. Floating at the edge of his vision, pale and translucent like a reflection on glass. Wave-safe tissued. "Welcome, user. Your ability has been registered. Also in class Mirror Hunter. Current level 1. Skill slots 1. Unlocks. AT every 10 levels. Copy cooldown. Ready." Jason stared at it for a long moment. Haley was still talking. Something about the doctors, about the Hunter Association sending representatives, but her voice felt very far away. He'd heard of hunters awakening with rare abilities. He'd never heard of one like this. He closed his eyes, focused on the interface. It responded instantly, smooth and intuitive, like it had always been there waiting. Ability, Mirror Echo. Copy any registered hunter skill regardless of rank. 1 active skill at a time. Swap once every 24 hours. Option. Passive, skill site, view the skills, rank, and proficiency of any hunter within range. Then a second panel opened beneath the first. Stat points available, 5. Distribute freely across strength and agility. / endurance, perception, vitality. Points are awarded each level up. Unspent points carry over. Jason looked at the 5 open slots for a long moment. Some hunters who awakened with stat-based abilities poured everything into a single category, maximum strength or maximum speed, building themselves into a specialized weapon. It was the obvious play. Efficient, predictable. He distributed 1 point into each stat without hesitation. The effect was immediate and subtle, a faint warmth moving through his entire body at once, not concentrated anywhere, just a baseline elevation across every system simultaneously. Strength, speed, stamina, awareness, recovery, all of it nudged fractionally upward. It wouldn't be noticeable today, or next week, but every level, across every stat, compounding indefinitely. Jason understood math well enough to know what that looked like over time. Not a weapon built for one purpose, something harder to define and harder to stop. Interesting. He opened his eyes. Outside the window, Manhattan's skyline cut against a gray October sky. Somewhere out there, dungeons were opening. Hunters were dying. The world was moving. Jason Sung looked at his hands, still weak, still trembling slightly, and made a quiet decision. He would not be weak for much longer. The Hunter Association representative arrived on the 4th day. He was a mid-level bureaucrat in a gray suit, the kind of man who'd never set foot inside a dungeon, but had memorized every regulation about them. He introduced himself as Agent Holt, set a briefcase on the chair Jason's sister had occupied the night before, and clicked it open with the practiced efficiency of someone who did this 30 times a week, Mr. Sung, given the circumstances of the double dungeon incident, the association is conducting re-evaluations on all survivors. He produced a mana measurement device, a slim black rod that glowed faintly at the tip. Standard procedure. This won't take long. Jason held out his hand. The rod pulsed once, twice, then gave a flat, unimpressive tone. Holt checked his tablet. Something in his expression shifted. Not cruel, just professionally detached. The look of a man confirming what he already expected. E rank, he said. Same as before. I'm sorry, Mr. Sung. The incident doesn't appear to have triggered a reawakening. Of course it didn't, Jason thought. The system doesn't register on your equipment. He said nothing, just nodded slowly. That's when he used it for the first time. He let his gaze settle on Holt and focused, the way the interface had taught him instinctively, like flexing a muscle he'd never known existed. SKEL S-Site active. Target, Holt, David, Hunter rank, F. Registered skills, none. Jason almost smiled. A non-combat administrator. No skills worth noting, but the ability worked. It was real. After Holt left, Jason lay back against the pillow and stared at the ceiling for a long time. E rank on paper. No daily quests pushing him forward. No assignments telling him where to go or what to kill. Just one ability, one skill slot, and a world full of hunters walking around with their powers completely exposed to him. That's enough, he decided. More than enough. They discharged him on the 6th day. The hospital was in Midtown Manhattan, 12 blocks from the apartment he shared with Haley. He walked home. His body still ached, but the trembling in his hands was gone, and with every block he covered, he felt something settling in his chest, a cold, quiet focus that hadn't been there before the dungeon. The city moved around him the way it always did, loud, indifferent, alive. He passed a hunter on West 45th Street without even trying to find one. The man was built like a defensive lineman, wearing the faint shimmer of residual mana that hunters carried after a raid. He was arguing on his phone outside a coffee shop, completely unaware of Jason's attention. Jason looked at him and let the skill site open. N. Target, Morrison, Kyle. Hunter rank, C. Registered skills, 3 Sentient Dan. Skin, rank B. Proficiency, intermediate. Intermediate, Power Strike, rank C. Proficiency, advanced. Plastica Deed Test, endurance boost, rank D. Proficiency, master. Jason slowed his walk without stopping. Steel Skin, rank B. A defensive skill that hardened the body's surface against physical damage. On a C-rank hunter, it was exceptional. A pulled-up skill, something he'd probably earned from a rare drop or a special dungeon clear. It made him durable enough to operate above his natural rank. Jason filed that information away and kept walking. He spent the rest of the afternoon in Riverside Park, sitting on a bench watching the Hudson, cycling through every hunter that drifted into his range. A B-rank woman jogging with a guild emblem on her jacket. 2 D-rank men walking together, their skills modest and well-worn. An A-rank hunter stepping out of an armored black SUV near the park entrance, skills that made Jason's interface light up with detail. At Callahan, Reed, hunter rank A. Registered skills, Aqueduct International Daza to play a Lerman's Travel Damis isn't. Translated by Omer in recovery time of Fortherman Sepulchre, a simple hit piece, but Master Oel, Iron Will, rank C, proficiency advanced, lightning step, a movement skill, explosive speed in short bursts, the kind of thing that made A ranks nearly impossible to track in close combat. Jason looked at the copy prompt hovering at the edge of his vision. Copy skill, lightning step, rank A, warning, current body stats may limit full execution. Confirm, yes, letter no. He selected yes. The sensation was brief and strange, a warmth that moved from his chest down through both legs, like something slotting into place. SK copied, lightning step, rank A. Copy cooldown, 24 hours. He stood up from the bench, checked that no one was close, then he focused on the skill and pushed. The world lurched. He crossed 15 feet in a fraction of a second, stumbled, caught himself on a tree, and stood there breathing hard with his heart slamming against his ribs. Rough, uncontrolled. His body wasn't built for it yet, but it had worked. Jason straightened up, brushed bark dust off his palm, and walked home wearing something that wasn't quite a smile. One skill, one slot, a world full of hunters who had no idea they were being read. It's a start,